Welcome to the channel. Today's video I'll be covering spreadsheet tips in Excel for fantasy football reasons and also some in Google Sheets as well. We'll be going over how to bring a cheat sheet into Excel from a PDF and also create a draft board that you can use a drop down to simply look up names by typing in the first few letters and choose them this way. And also some other tips with bringing data from the web and doing some analysis as well as inserting charts and different stuff like that. So the first step for getting a cheat sheet into Excel will be going to ESPN's website. I'll have the link in the description, and we'll be getting a PPR positional cheat sheet. Click download, and now there will be a copy in our file explorer where we can import it into Excel. Now back in Excel, we can go to the data tab, get data from file and then from PDF, and find it in your file explorer. You can click on it and click import. And there will be two different tables here. It looks like the bottom one also has the position, so now we can just click load. And with this loaded, it did not create all the column headers such as the bye week and stuff like that, so we can manually do that. But before we do any formatting for this sheet, we'll want to grab all these different names and create a list that we can use for our dropdown. So at the bottom of this list, we'll use a formula, and we'll just type equal unique. And we'll want to grab all the unique names from one column, and then we'll just drag this over. So that takes all the quarterback names, and then this will take the remaining players. So now we have these different lists of players and some data that we don't need. So the way we're going to get all of these extra values into one list will be another formula. So now we can go to sheet 1 or add a new sheet if needed, and then we'll just type equals and start typing VStack. Can double click, and this will just combine arrays into one vertical column. So array 1 will be this first array, and then just a comma. Then we can grab this next array, another column, comma, grab this array as well, one last comma, and then these looks like just the teams for bye weeks. So we'll grab that first player and then Control Shift up to grab that as well. Then hit enter. And so now this is a formula that created an array that stacks, but we can just Control C and then right click and paste just the values. So there's no formulas in here. Now they are just the values of what's in that cell. So we can delete this formula, and then we can also click on this row right here, all the way on the 1, then right click, insert to insert a column, and we'll just want a quick header name. Because then we can go into data and filter, and then we'll filter out all these zeros. So now we can just click on this, and then if we press down Control and click on other rows, will also work, and we can right click and click delete rows. So now when we unfilter or select all, those zeros will be out of there, and now it'll only be names. With some exceptions, there'll be certain position names like tight end, but that won't matter, as when you're looking up a player, you'll be able to type in their name and click from the drop-down list. So now we can start creating the draft board by going into a new sheet, and then we'll just type team 1. So this will be the team names here, and we'll just do a 12-person team, 12-person league, and then round 1, and we will just copy this down for 16 rounds. So we'll just do quick formatting for each of these and bold them, and we can make them a slightly different color so they're a bit more visible. And so now we're going to want to create a drop-down list by just grabbing and dragging this whole grid, and then we'll go into the data tab, data validation, and This is allowing any value to be in these cells, but now we can click this drop down and just click on list. So now the source of the list will go back to this column that we just created with VStack. Control Shift down to grab everything. And now whenever we either click this drop down in any of these cells or just start typing, it will show up with their names. So let's say you look up Josh Allen, it shows up. So now you can just quickly, for each team and each drafted player, easily look up their name without having to worry about spelling completely or a lot of things like that. And another quick tip, if you want to change the view, if we go down here, there'll be a couple different view options. So this will be page layout. This would be if you wanted to print the worksheet. And so you can also go into page layout and we can change this to landscape. And then this will be dependent on the size. But let's say we wanted to make these a bit smaller, you would need to change and shorten or make the font smaller to compress everything onto one sheet. So then this way you can make a printable sheet. Or we could also go to this view and zoom in, and this will be the first page. But as these go, you can see where the page cuts off. So down here will be important if you're worried about that aspect of creating a page. But now we can go back to the cheat sheet and do some formatting. So we can click delete since we have all of these highlighted. And now this will be an optional route, but we can concatenate all of these or combine all these cells. So it'll be one quick way to highlight them. So instead of grabbing multiple cells and having them mislabeled, and then, as the draft's going, you can just highlight them a different color. Well, we can just combine them all into one cell to make it a little easier. So we can click the top of this column and then right click insert. We'll insert a new column. And then we'll want to use a function which will be concat, which will concatenate all these different cells. So if we click on this first one, we can hit comma, then this will be the next cell, but we can actually do an opening quote, a space, another quote. So then this way there'll be a space in between. And then this will be the amount of money for daily fantasy, or if you do your draft based on a certain cap. But we can actually add a opening quote, space, $, ending quote, and a comma to add a $sign in front of this. Then we can do opening quote, and then we can actually put BW for bye week. So it'll be space bye week and then the actual number. So this will autofill down, and we can see that it completely fills in each one for us. And if there's any cell that we don't need, we can just hit delete to delete that formula. So now with this done, we can actually do something really quick. So we can do rank, player, $, and bye week. So now what this is doing is taking all of these names. So then we can just copy this over and paste it to the next. And you'll see why that's important in a second. So this will be rank 2, but then we can make all of these 2 instead of the way they went. So then this way we'll be able to easily copy this formula. So now we can just take this formula and paste it right here. And we can see that it auto took, but we can do rank 2, player 2, $2, and bye week 2. And so the syntax is incorrect, something to do with this column, but so we can just delete it and then select right in there because there's an extra space at the end of here that we were missing. So now this will take everything down, except we see we have $2. So now we can take off this $sign here when combining, and that one's done as well. So now we can grab all of these, right click, and click hide. And then if we go back to here, can hide these as well. So now we'll just do these for the other two, and you can just change these names to player names, and then you can make this player names as well. And since they have to be unique column names, it just changes it to 2. I'll quickly get the other 2 formatted. For the sake of the video, we'll skip over that to save some time. And now with these formatted, we can go down, and these are the bye weeks here. So we can get rid of some of these formulas. So we can just take the rank in the player is all we need. So that will be bye weeks. And then this will show what bye weeks. So this will be 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and so on, with the number above and then the ones below it being the bye week. And we can also get rid of these cells down here, as we will not need these. So now we have this table that there's a few things we can clean up, but it looks like it's ready to go. And so a few quick tips that say while the draft's going on, you want to mark who's taken. You can see that highlighting it's the easiest way, just to mark them as gone. And also, if we go to one cell and just press F4, we can now mark off whoever got taken without having to click and click. You can move around by either clicking or using your arrow keys and press F4, and also Control Y also works. If you prefer Control Y over F4, that will be a quick way to do it. And moving into the next part of the video, I'll show you how to get web data into Excel so you can perform analysis or look at different variables and how they compare to one another. So I'm on NFL.com/stats and player stats. The link will be in the description. And we have a table of passing data from 2023. And we can just copy this URL before we move into Excel. And then we can go to data, get data from the web. And we'll want to paste that URL that we copied before. Click OK. And now that we've loaded the web page data, we can take a look and see that the HTML code is just how the web page is written, displayed text. But we have this table here, which will be the table in HTML or the web page that has all the data we're looking for. So we can just click load. And now that the data is loaded, you can see that we did not correctly add this first column or first row as the headers. So what we're going to want to do is click on table design, convert to arrange, then we can delete this, and then grab everything. We'll do no borders and no fill, and then hit Control T, and my table has headers, and now it just converts it to a table once again. I'm not going to go too in depth with any sort of analysis, but let's say we have touchdown and rating. So let's insert a column, and then we want to get a touchdown to interception ratio where we can do touchdowns divided by interceptions. So that means, and we can actually just convert these to a number. So they'll be full numbers. So that means for every 3.43 touchdowns, Lamar Jackson will have 1 interception and a rating. So then if we grabbed, well, we can do TD to int ratio. And now with touchdown ratios and ratings, we can just grab this column and these 2 columns and then go to insert charts. And this is where all these different charts will be available for you, but we can go into an XY scatter, and we can also add an axis title where this will be TD ratio, and this will be rating. So this will show the correlation between touchdown to interception ratio and the rating. Now to move to the Google Sheets version, they don't make it quite as easy as Excel's Power Query to import PDF files or a bunch of other types of data. We will have to use an extension. There are other ways you can do this, such as PDF to CSV files, but for this example, we'll be using an extension, and the extensions will be right here. And go to add-ons and get add-ons, and you will type PDF in this search, and we will be getting small PDF. So you can click on it and install it, so you'll be able to import the data into Google Sheets. So with that installed, we're going to want to go to our Google Drive. Where we'll want to find the PDF, and how you'll get your PDF into your Google Drive is send it to your Gmail and then save to your Google Drive. Then we'll right click open with small PDF. Then you'll have to sign in with your Google account and you can continue. And now with the PDF in here, we'll go to convert and we'll go to PDF to Excel, where you'll have to once again select the file from your File Explorer. And it is a little confusing and they make it a lot tougher. So convert selectable text only and convert. And once that's done, we can right click on this arrow or just click on it, left click, and save to Google Drive. And we'll click save. And then we'll find it in our Google Drive and we will double click. And so now it loads all these different tables, but really what we're going to want is table 2 and table 3. All we need to do is click on column A, right click, and then insert one column left, and then do that 2 more times. And then what we're going to want to do is just copy this data here. We can just Control Shift over and down, and then Control C, and then we'll right click and paste. So now if we zoom in a bit, we can see that all of the names are in here, and we can do a little bit of formatting, and it actually looks very nice and very simple to use. Creating a draft board would be very similar, so I'll just go over some of the basic ideas. We would want a list of the same names, so we can do uniques to get all the names that we want. And then once we do, how we're going to do data validation will be by grabbing a range of cells. So let's say this was the draft board here. We'll go to data validation, and we'll go to add row. And the drop down will be from a range. And then the range, we'll want to just select the list. Then we'll click OK and click done. And then all the names will appear here. So then that's how you'll create your draft board with teams and rounds, and then create the long list that you'll select every player from. And for the last part of this video, I'll show you how to get data into Google Sheets for analysis. We'll be using the same exact website, NFL Stats, and we'll just be taking the quarterback stats from 2023. So we'll go into Google Sheets and type equals import HTML. So we'll be importing that table from that web page by putting an opening quote, the URL, closing quote, and then comma. The query type will be a table, since that's how the data is stored on that web page, and that's what it's stored in. And the index will be 1. It will be the first table. We can just close that. And now it takes all the data with the headers in there, so it'll be available for analysis. And it'll be similar where we can add charts. So in this case, we can just take the players, and let's just take the amount of attempts and the amount of touchdowns. Then you can go to insert, and we will insert a chart. And so this chart that it picked for us is a stacked column chart. So This might not be the best for this example since they're not exactly related. You could do attempts and then completions for a chart like this, but we can also just change it right here. So we can do attempts and touchdowns. So we can see the amount of attempts and the amount of touchdowns thrown with another scatter chart, or you could do a line chart, which would make no sense in this case. So do not use a line chart. But there's a bunch of different charts available for different stats depending on what you want to look into. But that's all I have for you in this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps out a bunch. And thanks for watching.